This is Michael, the host of the WDYM podcast. You ever hear an episode and want to give your 2 cents? Now you have that option with the text and talk. In each episode description up at the top, you see the option for text and talk. Hit that link, start texting, and I'll start talking. Be a part of the WDYM podcast and start text and talking with me.
You're listening to the WDYM, the What Do You Mean podcast, Hamilton's #1 podcast. Now sit back and relax. Here's Hamilton's own Michael Gillespie.
I figured it out. I have figured their grand scheme out. I thought it was on purpose, but then I figured out it's their grand scheme. It is their grand scheme. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about Popeyes, the fast food restaurant, right? Everybody knows if you just go in there and everything, you're automatically getting terrible service. It's just terrible service. They cannot avoid the terrible service. This is the opposite of Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, you get great service. You get excellent service. But Popeyes, nah. No sir, no ma'am, no ham, no bacon. You're not getting good service at Popeyes, no matter what you do. I've been in the restaurant game for the longest time. Restaurant game, culinary game, whatever you want to call it. I've been in the game for a while, right? So I know, as someone who's been in this industry for a while, it's something we call peak times. At Chipotle, we had peak times every day, all day, and we were prepared for those peak times. Popeyes don't believe in peak times. They don't believe in anything close to a peak time. Let me give you a couple examples of peak times. Peak times for certain restaurants could be lunch, right? Dinner. You following me? Maybe a breakfast. Maybe like 9 o'clock, everybody wakes up, they come down to eat breakfast. Peak time. Even special occasions. They have, like the after church rush. Peak. Holiday. Peak time. 4th of July. Maybe, there's a peak time. You get what I'm saying? There's peak times for certain situations where, hey, let's overproduce or produce a lot of chicken, so therefore we don't run out of chicken. You follow me? You understand? Okay, great, good. I went to Popeyes this past Sunday at, let's just say 11:30, right? So it's that peak time when people were starting to get out of church, predominantly white church, because black church, we don't get out till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's another story. But you get what I'm saying, right? It is 11:30. You guys open at 10:30, one of those times. So therefore, you shouldn't run out of chicken. I'm sorry. That's just something that we don't do. So I should have known that this was going to be a half-hour type deal when I walked in. When I walked in, there was already 2 people in line. So, okay, not a big deal. Maybe they got their things together, so therefore we're not worrying about chicken. 2 people in front of me, and my first sign, I should have been like, uh-oh, is that the person at the register has her back turned against the people on her cell phone. So I'm like, okay, maybe, benefit of a doubt time. Maybe they just get their schedule and they're looking at their phone and all that stuff. So that could be a legit thing. As I'm investigating, there's 4 people working. I think one person's working the drive-through line. The other person's frying chicken, the manager, and then the person in the front. So I'm looking at, I'm like, okay, so 4 people, 2 people in line. They're not busy. So I'm figuring, okay, this is going to work. This is going to be fine, and it's going to work. It's going to be fine. Okay. What was I thinking? I don't know how many of you guys know, but how many times have you gone to Popeyes and got okay service? Just okay service. I have never been to a Popeyes and got excellent service. Like, ooh, Chick-fil-A, excellent service almost every time. I cannot think of a time I haven't got excellent service from Chick-fil-A. Popeyes, on the other hand, they're like, nah, well, screw that. So I'm in there, two people in front of me. They're getting mobile order, so they're just, doing their little Uber Eats, whatever, DoorDash, those type things, right? So those two people are just grabbing bags and leaving. I pull up and I order a 2-piece and a 3-piece. I order a 2-piece and a 3-piece. And the first thing he says, well, we're gonna have to cook some old chicken. I said, okay, I'm not gonna be angry. I'm not. But I'm like, it's like 11:30. How are you guys out of chicken already? This doesn't make sense. You guys just been open for an hour. And I'm pretty sure, right? You have a shelf life for chicken for at least an hour under a heat lamp. At least. Pushing it. They're out of chicken. I'm like, man, this is something else. I'm like, all right, fine. You know what? She said it's going to be a 6 to 8 minute wait for regular, and I got spicy. She said it's going to be a wait for spicy. I'm like, okay. So I sit back, and I'm like, can you give me my 2 cups for my drinks? And she's like, yeah, sure. Hands me the cups. Guess what? They didn't want to brew no tea today. That's a staple for Popeyes. Can I get that sweet tea? That's a normal. And then the funny thing about it is that the front register person looked actually like surprised, like, what? We ain't got no tea? Come on now. You didn't have no tea. Why are you acting all brand new? And I was like, I'm going to be nice. Like, no, ma'am, you don't have no tea out here. So, okay, I'll get that for you. And then she goes, to the little fountain machine in the back for a drive-through and gets me tea. And guess what? It's Gold Peak. Gold Peak is the worst tea in a bottle. Period. It's terrible. It's nasty. It don't even taste good. What is that? That's not tea. That's brown water. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not good tea. I'm sorry. Anybody could brew tea, make it better than what Gold Peak does. Maybe I'm on a soapbox today, and I'm complaining about the experience I got at Popeyes. But the tea was trash. Tea is absolutely garbage. So I'm sitting there waiting, and lo and behold, 4 people come in after me. Right? So my culinary brain is like, okay, what you should do, lady, is take these people's orders, so therefore you got them, right? They're not going to ask for money back. You got them. What does she do? She's on her cell phone, actually looking at her schedule and complaining, like, I can't do this day, blah, blah, blah. And then I look, and I'm assuming she was the manager. She was on her phone, too. So I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? They are doing this on purpose. This service is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So I'm sitting there, and 10 minutes go by, no food. 15 minutes go by, no food. 20 minutes go by, still no food. I'm like, okay, this is crazy. So I'm looking at the person who's next to me. It's a young lady in a nursing outfit and everything. And I'm just looking at her, and she looks upset because obviously she hasn't put her order in, and she's upset. Nobody's giving her the attention. And eventually she walks out. She's like, you know what? I'm done with this place. McDonald's is right down the street. She's probably going to get McDonald's. I'm sitting there. I'm like, I don't understand why I keep coming here. This is ridiculous. There's actually a Cane's right across the way. Go eat there, right? No, we wanted Popeyes. I wanted some spicy chicken. I eventually get my chicken. And lo and behold, everything is hot and delicious, right? Everything is good. It's like, hey, man, is it worth the wait? I mean, I'm eating this spicy chicken and I'm enjoying life right now. This is delicious. I love Popeye's chicken. I hate Popeye's service. It's terrible. I cannot believe it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do my due diligence, and I'm going to write the company. I'm going to write the company and tell them how bad they are. So I go in there on their website, start filling out like, hey, everybody's on their cell phone. Nobody's giving the people attention. Had to wait X amount of minutes and all that stuff. And it's like, it's automated AI thing. Was like, well, can you tell us what store you were at? And this, that, and the other. So I tell them everything, and they don't even ask for like an email or anything. He's like, are you a member? Do you have an account? I said, no. I'm telling you how it is. I finished the survey of how bad the service was. So yeah, we'll let the restaurant know. Goodbye. Click. And that was it. There wasn't no, hey, we'll follow up with you. Hey, do you want a follow up number? Hey, do you want to call? Anything like that? No. So I've concluded that this is all part of their strategy. Get them to wait. Let me make it hot and fresh for you, because everything was hot. The biscuit, the sides, the chicken, everything was hot. That's what people want, hot food. And it was delicious. But they give you horrible service. And I'm trying to figure out, is this a marketing scheme? Because how are you going to complain about something and not ask the person who's complaining, do you want to follow up? Do you, something like that? Nothing. So it's part of the marketing scheme. It has to be. It freaking has to be, because I got hot food. I'm not complaining about the food. I'm complaining about the service. And I don't think they're ever going to fix it, because, hey, this is what they're notoriously known for. There's been so many skits online, people online complaining about the service you get at Popeyes Chicken. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So, yeah. I don't even recommend it. Don't go shoot. That chicken sandwich is pretty good. But, know what you're getting into if you go to Popeyes. Okay? So, the main event for today, it's quite simple. I wanted to talk about my decision to join the military, man. That's the bread and butter of this season. I'm gonna explain a couple weeks of basic training, maybe some tech school, maybe some real life incidents and all that stuff for the next couple episodes. So we got to go with how it all started. And it started with me on September 10th, right? During this times, man, I was fresh out of high school and everything, a couple years out, like maybe 3 years out, working here and there and everything. I was working at Bob Evans at the time, and me and my friend, we would sometimes have a little extracurricular activities, right? You'd be surprised. Michael, you used to smoke? Yeah, I did. Okay, get over it. We all did. Maybe. I don't know. So when we would have, after work, a couple friends, we would just do our thing, and then I would go home, right? That was it, whatever. This day, I went home and woke up, and why I remember this is basically simple. There was a new Jay-Z album coming out September 11th, right? September 11th, I think it was 2001? God. 2001, Jay-Z's album, I think the Blueprint 3 or something, Blueprint, whatever. It was coming out, and I was like, I got to get this album, because I've heard, snips of the album. I was like, this album's about to be fire. If memory serves me correct. I might be wrong with the names and everything, so forgive me on that. I went to Galaxy CD on the west side, right? Because, I want to support my local businesses and stuff like that. So I go there and grab the CD, and they have the TV on. And that's not normal, right? I'm like, that's not normal. But why do you have the TV on? I'm watching it, and I've still got the haze from last night in my brain. I'm like, dog, this movie is so real looking. Like, dude, what movie is this? This is the new Die Hard? This must be a new movie. He's like, nah, dog. This is happening in real life. I'm like, shut up, man. That's no way. And by the time I started paying attention to TV, one tower has already been hit. Right? So I'm like, dude, that's crazy. And it's like, when that happened, it was something else, right? This is what, as I was buying the CD and everything, I was just glued to the TV, because this is what was happening.
This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the firemen assembled here, the police officers, FBI agents, and you can see the two towers. A huge explosion now, raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way.
Now imagine imagine that. Like, there's people that was been born and everything that has never seen something like that. And me seeing that shaped my life for the rest of my life. So that happened and everything. And of course, you being alive in that era and everything, it was devastating. It was so devastating to see the towers fall. And, doing the follow-up, and as years went by, documentary of documentary, seeing what people were doing, trying to escape that, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. So, as I'm sitting there cooking at Bob Evans, and this freshly in my mind, I'm asking myself, like, hey, what am I doing with my life? Like, what am I doing getting buzzed and, not really having a direction? I'm cooking. I'm making my way up through Bob Evans. Started out as a dishwasher to bussing tables to hosting to serving to cooking, right? In my time there, I've done everything. And they started doing snippets of management with me, but I was like, yeah, I don't know about that part, right? So I'm looking at my life. Like, what am I doing with my life? Because I cannot, this is not what I want. This is not what I want. So I'm like, yo, maybe I should join the military. And at this time, my brother is in the military. He just graduated from Ohio State. He's an officer, and he thinks real high of himself. Michael, don't forget, I'm always better than you. Is what, oh my God, what he would probably say to me, right? Because I'm going in. If I'm going in, I'm going in enlisted. So I go to my local military station, and the thing about it is that's so annoying when you go in is that the army recruiters, just basically what you open the door, it goes bing bong, and they just come out the door, look, put their head out, look. Oh, we got somebody new, and he was like, "Hey, you want to join the army?" I said, "Absolutely not, dude. What are you talking? I have a mission, right? I have a mission, and I'm not doing it." Then you look further down, there's the Marine guy back there. Ding ding, you want to join you Marines? You to be a Marine? No, I'm not joining the Marines, dog. I don't know. Nope. And they're off. They're just throwing, like, you could get this many stripes going in, and you could do this and that. And the Navy guy said, no, don't you might as well just go right back in your office. There ain't no way I'm being a seaman. Get out of here. So I would go see the Air Force guy, but his door was closed. I'm like, what's going on? How is his door closed? Like, he ain't here. You see that? That's the Air Force for you. They don't do nothing. I said, okay. All right. So I go home and, grab his little card, and I call, buzz, wait, whatever. And he never answers. So I'm like, all right, so now I'm going to have to scout this guy. As I wait for him to finally get a hold of me, I'm still doing the things that I've been doing, sitting out, chilling, doing extra activities, eating pizza, not being in shape, this, that, and the other. And I'm waiting on him. I finally get a hold of this guy. I go to the office. I am in a very higher state of life right now, if you get what I'm saying. I go to him. It's like, hey, bro, I want to join the Air Force. He says, you want to join the Air Force? With a chuckle. I'm like, yeah, I want to join the Air Force. He says, you looking me up and down, like, you want to join the Air Force? I said, absolutely, I do. It's okay. If you're serious, quit smoking. I said, done. So I quit smoking. Then he looks me up and down again and says, hey, you need to start running. I said, what? He says, you need to start running. I said, fine. You know what? Whatever. All right, I got the mission. So he wants me to quit smoking. He wants me to run because I got to shave a couple pounds because I'm too fat. According to him, he called me fat. So all right, cool, whatever. I'm committed to this. He says, I'm not going to let you go to Columbus, which is in processing area, until you're serious about it. Till I know you're serious about it. I said, all right, say less. I got this, right? So I have to start running. And lo and behold, if you know this or not, don't care. I hate running. I absolutely hate running. The only time I enjoyed running is once I've been running for a while, it doesn't hurt no more. But every time I run, it hurts. It just hurts. Lungs, back, legs. It just hurts. So I talked to the one person that loves to run. And we set up a time where we met up 3 times a week at the track at Big Blue when they used to let people on the track. And we would run. We would run the straightaways, walk the curves. Just start, right? And let me tell you, this individual and myself were super competitive. Super competitive. We didn't know. Like, if I won, she didn't. If I won a race, she didn't like it. If she won the race, yeah, I said she. She didn't like it, and vice versa. I didn't like it, and this and the other. I said, look, I need help. I'm joining the military, and I need to enjoy running. She laughs. You mean with me? And I said, yeah, with you. She said, okay. Meet me here Monday morning, 9:30, and we'll run. And that's exactly what I did. We ran 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And we would run like 2 miles. And I hated every second of it. I hated it. It was terrible. But the competitiveness of it made it fun because she would dog walk me. She would beat me so bad. I hated it. But then on the side, I would run just like around my neighborhood, this, that, and the other. And they thought I was crazy. Everybody thought, who runs in the hood? That's the thing. If you ain't running from the police or something like that, why are you running in the hood? I'm just running to get in shape because I'm joining the military. So eventually, I started beating her, and then it would go back and forth. Some days she would get me, some days I would get her. Lo and behold, a brother's in shape. I am in shape. The legs are rock and everything, this, that, and the other. So he lets me go to in processing, and I do my job. I can find me a job. And at the time, I signed up to be I was qualified enough to do telephone systems, right? Don't know exactly what that entails, but I said, hey, I'll do telephone systems, whatever, you know? So I'm a telephone system guy. I come back. He's like, yeah, man, congratulations for MEPS. You got a good score. You're a telephone systems guy. And, you're on your way to becoming an airman. I was like, great, cool. That's what I want. He said, all right, just maintain what you're doing. You haven't smoked, right? So, no, I ain't smoked, sir. I'm on it. He said, okay, cool. Keep this up, and we'll go from there. So I'm basically mentally trying to be the best version of myself. So I'm trained, I'm running 3 times a week. I'm in shape, everything. I'm living with my girlfriend, and it's like, hey, everything is good and all that stuff. Well, I'll take that back. I have a girlfriend. We're doing good. I got a job. Just stay in shape. I got 6 months. 6 months before I go and get out of here, right? I'm got my job. I'm maintaining my standards, that and the other, and all that stuff. During this time, like I said, I had a girlfriend and everything, and we would make up the breakup every now and then, every couple months, because of outstanding circumstances, this, that, and the other. So at one point, we're broken up, and allegedly, again, I'm using that allegedly, like we're not getting back together, right? This is it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, screw it. All right, I'm going to in process, like to start the ball rolling, like actually get tested and all that stuff, all that good stuff. I go up there, and there's a whole bunch of people, right? There's a whole bunch of people trying to enlist in the military. So I'm like, cool. So I'm starting to see people that I don't know nobody. Nobody else from Hamilton are trying to sign up for the military. It's just me, because me and the recruiter are the only ones driving to Columbus. Like, whatever. So we drive up to Columbus and everything, and you start in processing and all that. And I'm like, okay, starting to do my thing and everything. And lo and behold, I'm officially in. I think I swore in that first time. And don't quote me because it's probably changed 8 million times since I went through the military. I swear in. So basically, I can't. I'm already booked a ticket. I'm leaving. I'm leaving Hamilton. I'm on my way to San Antonio. And I was like, I got nothing for me here. I'm clean. I'm in shape. I'm running like 3 miles now, no problem. Probably 2.5 to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm doing my thing. I'm in tip top shape. And right at the current time, I'm not with anybody. So it's gonna be a clean break. Until I come back. I come back and my girlfriend at the time, she's like, "Oh, how you doing?" I said, "I'm good." Hey, let's go out. Let's go eat at one of our favorite spots. We used to go to this place called the Deli Shop. The Deli Shop was on, I think, 2nd or 3rd Street. We both love that sandwich. There you get a hot press, all that good stuff. It was a really good place. I don't know why they closed. So we're talking and everything, and it's like, hey, I really miss you. It's like, I really miss you too. What's been going on? I said, yo, I'm leaving. I was like, I'm joining the military. She's like, really? I said, yeah. I said, I'm leaving in February, and that's that. She's like, oh, okay, cool. And she said, what have you thought about us? I'm like, yeah, not really. You know what I mean? This is like, our last breakup was some BS. But, I'm just going to be taking it day by day. So, all right, well, if you ever call me when, if you want to hang out, whatever, whatnot, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool, Eventually, we get back together, we move in together, and we start building our lives together and everything. It's like, unexpected, expected thing. So, whenever, let's just say this was in August, right? We decided to move in together and everything. And August, I'm leaving in February. August, September, October, November, December, January, February. It's time for me to leave. The day of, I go to the YMCA and I work out. And I can remember this like no other. There's snow on the ground and everything. And I'm like, yo, I'm about to change my life. I'm about to leave my city in order to better myself, in order to join the military, the United States Air Force. I am on this treadmill. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, bro. It's like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I should be doing this, man. But it's like, it's too late now because I already put my hand up and I already put it on the Bible and swore to protect and defend the Constitution. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm with somebody. I'm currently dating my girlfriend. And I don't know what I'm going to do because, we're paying rent together and everything. And I don't know what I'm going to do. So I come back home from the gym, sweaty, stinking, and whatever. I wake her up. I'm like, hey, today's the day. And, it is what it is. So we're talking and everything. And I do this cheesy proposal with a ring pop. And I ask her to marry me. And she says yes. And, now I have a little bit of purpose when I go. And so that happens. And my recruiter comes, knocks on the door and says, hey, man, you ready? And I gave her my Visa card. I gave her my bank card. And I give her, everything I have. And it's like, hey, use it when needed. Use it when needed. And, I'll be getting paid and everything. So good luck. I'll be back. So I roll off to Columbus to leave for the military. Again, I seen the same people I saw the first time when I in process. I saw them and I was like, one was named Bell and the other one was Isaacs. Okay. Bell and Isaacs were brothers, right? We're black. That's what I mean. We're black. And, we hang out for a while. We talk, I used to play for UC football. I said, oh, that's cool. He's like, yeah. The other guy, he's like, yeah, I just wanted to join. I'm from another part of Ohio. I'm like, cool. We about to do this, and everything. And we all hanging out and everything. And we go to start in process. In processing is a 2-day event, right? The first one is just, hey, you're here. Want to make sure you're here. You eat, you sit down, you wait, and everything. It's like, all right, cool, whatever. You're going to be a telephone systems apprentice. You need to learn this, that. This is your tech school. Your tech school is going to be this long, this, that, and the other. And we're like, cool. So now we're doing all these tests now, right? So we're picking things up, seeing what we could lift, checking out, all our, knees and all that stuff. And I remember going into this doctor. It was like a doctor's office, just me, the doctor, a little, the little bed that they have in the back with the paper on it and everything. And he's like, Gillespie. I said, yeah, me. I was like, we got to start, getting to that military mind. Yes, sir. Right? He's like, Gillespie. Yes, sir. He said, strip. I was like, what? He said, strip. I said, strip down to what? He said, strip down till you are butt naked. I said, oh, okay. You ain't gonna give me no dinner or anything first? You just gonna ask me to get straight up butt naked? I'm nervous here a little bit because this dude's asking me to get butt naked, and I don't want to because it's cold. You know what I'm saying? It's cold. Okay, you know what happens when things. It's cold in this office. It's cold in this doctor's office. It's cold. Okay, he said strip butt naked. I said, man, I'm fighting it. Initially, I'm fighting it because what you about to do, man? What we about to do? What kind of military operations is you want me to get butt naked? He said, you get butt naked or you're not joining. I said, okay. Draws is off. I am butt naked. It is like 30 degrees in this office. It has to be 30. It's 30 degrees in this office, man. He says, all right, bend your knees. So bend your knees. He says, squat down. Says, no problem. I'm not going to do all this stuff. Then he says, bend over. I'm like, I'm getting mad. Like, yo, what you mean? What you mean what you mean bend over, dog? I'm trying to get ghetto and stuff because you ain't going to ask me to bend over. No, you ain't like when I'm butt naked, bro. I can't. He's like, man. I'm like, man, who you talking to, dog? He says, I'm talking to you, Gillespie. He says, all right, if you don't bend over, you can't join the military. I said, man, forget this stuff, man. I don't need it that bad. I'm thinking to myself, but wait a minute. I'm already in Columbus, man. I'm about 2 days out from leaving. So, yeah, brother bends over, whatever. And he says, grab your ankles. I said, hold on now, play. Grab my ankles? What we doing? No. Come on now, what we doing here? He said, grab your ankles. Whatever. And he takes a peek. I don't know what he's looking at, but I'm pretty embarrassed. It's like, I remember because it's the first time someone ever asked me to bend over and grab my ankles. It's the first person to ask me this crap, man. So I remember that, but I don't remember anything after that. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. But yeah, I did that. So I pass all that stuff. I am like medically cleared to join the Air Force. Right. After that, they give us this ticket, and he says, hey, go to the cafeteria, get you something to eat. After you eat, we'll be back here at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I remember this moment like no other. Why? Because that burger was freaking delicious. Mind you, they gave us MREs the first time, I think. No. They gave us like some snack, oranges, gummies, something like that, chips, all that. So once I passed the medical, got the ticket, and gave us hamburger and fries. The ticket, I got hamburger and fries. And it's like 6, 7 o'clock in the afternoon. And I remember they had this, like, the awning that Wendy's used to have where you could see through the glass and if you looked up and everything. And I'm looking up there and I'm like, and I remember this so clear because it's like I'm halfway through and I'm like, what the heck am I doing here? Because I'm starting to have instant regrets because he told me to bend over. I still, nobody, don't tell no other man to bend over, man. You crazy. So I did that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, I'm about to about to join the military. And I was like, this is crazy. As I ate my burger and fries. I said, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm here at this point. And this is the point where it transitions over from being a normal civilian to being an airman basic in the military, or about to be in the military. So the next day, they wake us up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and we in process all day. All day. Needless to say, I'm exhausted as I get on the plane and head to San Antonio for the first time. I am boarding a plane. This is officially it. I see Bell. I see Isaacs in different roles. I say, we say, what's up, man? What's up? We about to do this, man. We about to represent, blah, blah, blah. We represent Ohio, talking all this mess and everything as we get on this plane. And I kept thinking to myself, like, man, I feel, I'm confident and I'm nervous because I've never been on a plane before. I'm leaving my home. I am starting brand effing new. What am I doing? And at the end, I say the right thing. I'm doing the right thing, right? So we get on the plane. We head to San Antonio. We get off the plane. And mind you, it is maybe time. I don't know what time it is, right? Because we've been up all day. No nap, no nothing. Barely ate. So I don't know what time it is. It's dark and everything. And then I'm in San Antonio, and you start seeing groups of people coming in. You know, you can tell this cat's from Boston because he has the accent. You know, Boston car, all that stuff. Minnesota, California, Latinos. Don't know Latinos. Don't know where you from, but hey, you're joining the military. And so, yo, we're all a unit, right? We're all taking pictures. We're all taking pictures together. Hey, this our last interaction with women. Eventually, for a while, last interaction with women. It's like, yo, this is crazy. We're all like, yeah, where I'm from, Ohio, girl. Well, shorty, where you from? That's Belle. That's Isaacs. They all talking to girls like this. I said, this is not the time for that. This is not the time for that. We about to get murdered. I got a feeling this is the last hint of freedom we're ever gonna have. All right. So we get there. All right. And then there's somebody in a BDU uniform is there. He's like, hey, everybody, it's time to load up on the bus. I said, okay, hey, this is it. We get on the bus and we're on our way to Lackland Air Force Base. All right. So by the time we get to the gate, the bus slows down and everything. And you can see it. You could just feel it. Like, this is it. This is the end of Michael Gillespie. And here comes Airman Basic Gillespie. All right. So the bus pulls in, and you can see these guys wearing these weird hats and everything, full uniform, muscles everywhere. It's like, dude, what this is supposed to be the Air Force, right? The Air Force is supposed to be the easiest branch, right? Like, why is this dude mean mugging me through the bus window? I don't know who you are, player, but dude, you need to go somewhere because you're making me scared. And so they are looking at all of us as the bus slowly pull in, and our bus stops. And he goes, boom, 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 knocking on the window. And he's like, I want you. I said, who are you pointing to, dog? You ain't pointing at me, are you? He's like, I want you. Get your off the bus. And they cussing. This is supposed to be the Air Force. Why are you cussing at me, dog? Scared to death. And that was my welcome to San Antonio. Week 0 has started. And it gets worse from that point on. To be continued, though. Till next time. Hope you guys enjoyed the story of my military beginnings. I'm your host, Michael Gillespie of the WDYM. And I'm out. Girl Scout, Boy Scout. Peace.